Let's go for a ride. You are watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today. CycleCruza videos brought to you at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Top 5 modifications that you can do to your motorcycle. Okay, number 1. Well, first off, let me preface this video by saying, for you new riders out there, if you start on a small bike, which I highly recommend, you know, 250, 300, whatever, and you plan on moving to a faster bike, do not waste your time modding the bike. Don't waste your money and time. Save that money towards your next faster bike that you're going to keep for at least a couple of years or so, and then do all the modifications. But the number 1 modification that I did on this bike that I highly recommend is to change that stock exhaust, especially if you buy that bike new and it comes with the stock exhaust. This 2012 CBR 1000 RR that I bought leftover new out in Pennsylvania back in 2014, I tell you, I rode that bike home from Pennsylvania and the sound almost put me to sleep, man. As fun as this bike is, as fast as this bike is, the stock sound sounded like a scooter, man. I hated it. And I couldn't wait to change exhaust. And that's the first mod that I did. I changed over to a Hyperflow exhaust, which is specifically built for the CBR 1000 RR. And I actually didn't even need to put a power commander on this bike. It's got the S bend in the pipe and it creates back pressure so that so I wouldn't have to deal with any idling issues that you get with some of the other aftermarket exhausts. But I definitely recommend changing that. And also, in my opinion, it'll help keep you a little safer out here on the streets where if cars can hear you. You know, when I get towards a car, instead of bonking the horn, I'll rev the throttle at them and they'll back off. They hear me. Or if I see a car that's getting ready to move out of its lane or something, I'll rev the throttle. I mean, you can use your horn. See that? That's a good way, guys. See, I saw that ahead of time, him backing out a little bit. Honk that horn, guys. Let him. But I like to rev my throttle because I love hearing my bike too. You know, it sounds sexy. I love it. Alright, number 2 mod, Fender Eliminator. Definitely eliminate that stock fender, ugly as hell. They have to do it, I guess, by law. They have to put those ugly fenders on new bikes. But you know what pisses me off is that they charge such a high price for just basically a damn bracket and maybe a wiring harness if you're lucky. But it's, in my opinion, a Fender Eliminator kit should be no more than 30 bucks. But they charge like $100, $150 for that shit, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But you have to do it because that stock fender looks atrocious, and it's also going to save some weight on your bike. But anyways, number 3 on my list is case sliders. I definitely recommend putting some case sliders on your bike. I used to recommend frame sliders, but I'll tell you, the frame sliders can cause problems. If your bike goes down at speed, it can catch on imperfection in the road or crack. It could actually flip the bike, could cause more damage to the bike. Frame sliders are only going to be good if the bike at slow speeds and a standing drop. But you're really better off with just the case sliders. I got some R&G case sliders, which I'll include a link in the description and comment section of this video. These are R&G makes some really great stuff. If you're gonna get frame sliders, definitely get R&G, but case sliders, in my opinion, are the way to go. And I'll tell you, a lot of times, guys, you know, my WR250R, I don't have anything on there, and I dropped that bike at a slow speed. You know, I was coming out of the cemetery, and it was some pavement that had moss on it, and it was really slippery, and I fell on there. And actually, the only damage that I had on the bike was just a bent lever. Everything else was perfect. I had no problems whatsoever. So, you know, it's not always, most of the time if you drop your bike, it's usually just you're probably gonna end up with a scratch on your case, engine case, or your stator cover. And that's why you want to put those case sliders on each side. And because you know, when I was on the CBR 600RR, I pulled over on the side of the road once, and I thought I had the kickstand down or it wasn't fully engaged, and I slipped on some gravel when I was getting off the bike, and the bike went down with me. Very embarrassing moment, by the way. The bike was fine. I had no scratches on that bike, except for I had scratches on the stator cover. But had I had case slider on there, I wouldn't have had that scratch. Another really easy modification to do also is to add a sock cover here on your brake reservoir. And left my damn turn signal on. And that's another thing. Don't leave your turn signals on. Bad habit. But definitely put a sock on your reservoir there, because if you leave, for some reason, you don't put it on tightly and it leaks, and you're riding at speed, and you got some brake fluid that's flying out of there, small amounts. If it gets on your bodywork, it's gonna eliminate, it's going to get rid of, it's gonna screw your paint up in 0.2 seconds. And I'll tell you guys, I learned the hard way. Believe me, I had a Chinese scooter, and I was changing the brake fluid on it, and I got some like on the front of it. Man, it just took that paint off, and I'm just like that, completely screwed it up. 0.2 seconds. So I tell you guys, if you're changing the brake fluid, definitely be very, very careful with that stuff. Put covers over all around your body work and be very careful. Screw that lid on tight, but definitely just go ahead and get a sock cover. That's a very cheap and inexpensive mod. And another modification that you can do is, in my opinion, change over to some aftermarket fairings. Especially if you buy a brand new bike, I'll tell you guys, when you first buy it, order the aftermarket fairings even before you buy the bike, or when you first buy it, but don't ride your bike until you put on the aftermarket fairings and put your OEM fairings in storage. That way, your OEM fairings are going to be in mint condition, sitting in a box in the attic or whatever, and then you have your Chinese fairings on here. And I'll tell you, you see my fairings, they look absolutely awesome. Nobody knows the difference. By the way, if you want to see the difference in aftermarket fairings versus OEM fairings, I did a video on that goes into detail, shows the weight difference, stiffness, talks all about that. I'll include a link in the description and comment section of this video. But for $500, man, or whatever the price, around that price figure or less, sometimes you can even get deals and get it for like $300. But a full set, I'll tell you guys, you won't have to stress out about scratching the bike up. So definitely I highly recommend the aftermarket fairings, and you can get them customized to your own look, design, everything, man, for cheap. You know, if you were to take OEM fairings and go get them custom painted at your local shop, you're looking at a fortune. So $500 is a steal. Yeah, the fairings may not be 100% mint condition, you know, like OEM fairings, but it'll be great. Like I said, look at my bike, man. Look at it. It looks absolutely amazing. And then when I want to go sell this bike, I put my OEM fairings back on. It'll look fantastic. And then I'll sell these fairings on eBay. And I could probably sell them for a good $250 because they're in excellent condition. I could probably sell them for even $300. But hey guys, that's all I have for you in this video. If you want to see more of my videos, go to my website, CycleCruza.com. Click on the menu tab, My Videos. All of my videos are categorized into various playlists. Hopefully you can find something that will inform you or entertain you. And hey, subscribe to my All on Motorcycle channel. Hit thumbs up if you like this video. And share it. I appreciate all you guys. Hey, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and check out my website, CycleCruza.com. For those of you that ask about my gear, you know, I have a full list of all my gear. So I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
Check out my other channel, CycleCruza MotoVlogs, where I discuss anything and everything, not just motorcycle shit.